Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. You are watching something about Drea. I am Drea, and in today's video I'll be sharing with you how I found my hair vendor easily and just give you guys just a few tips that people really don't want to share. So if you care, stay tuned and keep on watching. All right, so first I want to start off by telling you guys the platforms that I use to find my hair vendors, and that is Instagram, Google, and WhatsApp. Now, I did purposefully stay away from Alibaba and AliExpress companies just because you want to find a wholesale vendor. You don't necessarily want to buy at a vendor price, but you're not shopping with a vendor because the quality can be trash. Let's just put it out there. The quality could be trash. So those are the platforms that I stuck with for finding my hair vendor. So I really want to keep this process simple, which is why I kind of narrowed down my search to just using those platforms to search for my vendor. Next, I'm going to give you guys the steps that I took to research these vendors and how I kind of narrowed it down to make the search easy, because it really is easy. I feel like the hardest part is actually trusting yourself and taking the risk to actually put the money into buying the hair to actually test it out. But these are just the things that I did, and I hope it could help you to find your vendor. All right, so the first thing that I did was I went to Google. When you go on Google, all you have to do is search hair vendors. What kind of hair vendor you're looking for? Virgin hair vendor or raw hair vendor. Just type it into Google. And what I did was go ahead and write down the top 5 that came up into Google, because I feel like when you search in Google, the most popular vendor, or the most popular or the highest ranking is going to come up first. So I just kind of went from there and took the first 5 from Google and decided to dig into those first 5, and then so forth. After that, I'll go into the next 5, and I just kind of keep it at the top 10 from Google. So after searching Google, I wrote down my list. I literally wrote down a list. I don't know if I could find it here, but I literally wrote in my notebook the list of vendors that I pulled up. And then from there, I went to Instagram. Now, what I did when I got to Instagram, okay, so first of all, after I written down my top 5, I actually went into each one of them and pulled different information from the Google search. As far as I took note of pictures that they had on their website. If I noticed any influencers or celebrities on their website, I took note of that. I also took note of how long the company was in operation and exactly where the company was located, things like that I felt like were important. I just kind of had to use my discretion because I've never searched for a vendor before, so I just kind of had to use my discretion on what I thought was important, and I literally took note of it and wrote it down. Okay, so after I'd done my Google homework and literally wrote everything down, I went over to Instagram and I checked out their Instagram page. And what I did to find their Instagram was type in the name of the hair company that I was looking for on Instagram, because 9 times out of 10, if they're legit, they definitely have an Instagram page. And sometimes the names didn't exactly add up, but if you just pay attention, do your research, and actually read their bio and things like that on their website, you can actually figure out how to find them on Instagram. So that's what I did. So on Instagram, what I did was pretty much double cross between the pictures and the information that I found on the website with the pictures and information that is on Instagram. So that's what I did. So if I saw those same celebrities, those same influencers on their Instagram, I went ahead and I took note of that as well. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that just because the pictures match up is what I went with. What I'm saying is I took note of it to go ahead and then further research and find that celebrity and Instagram model influencer and see if I saw, do they even do work with hair companies? Do they even do hair promos? Do they promote hair companies and things like that? And went back to that information. If I saw absolutely no sign of that influencer or celebrity promoting hair or anything like that, then I kind of just assumed that the vendor probably stole their pictures and is using it without their permission. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean that the company isn't legit, but it is a red flag that I may not necessarily want to work with someone who is stealing photos. But I will touch on that in another video because it's real complicated out here. So next, what I did was, like I said, I'm literally taking notes, writing down everything and cross-checking everything. It's like when you're looking for a hair vendor, you actually have to become an investigator, look at their pictures, examine, are they taking pictures in warehouses? Are they taking pictures at their home? Because you can kind of tell like some of the vendors where they're taking pictures at, not necessarily their home, but if it's in a work environment, or if it's just like a random clip of hair and you never get to see a background of a factory or warehouse or anything like that. I'm taking notes of all of these things because it's very important to pay attention to everything. And also that'll give you more detail as to where your manufacturer or where your vendor is manufacturing the hair. Also on their Instagram, you want to take note of them posting. Like, how often do they post? Are the posts old? Do you recognize any of the photos from maybe another popular celebrity hairstylist? Because sometimes vendors do steal not only influencer photos, but they also steal photos from other hairstylists that are really big, and they'll take their most popular posts, which, and I don't know why they do that, because that is so dumb. Like, why would you go steal from the most popular hairstylist? Like, we don't know. But I also took note of things like that. Red flag. I don't want to work with anybody that is stealing photos for content. Also, I took note of if the IG is active, like, are they posting on their stories? Because I feel like stories really do tell the story. That is the main thing that I mostly paid attention to, because I noticed vendors that are legit, they're constantly posting on their photos, because at the end of the day, they have a business and they are trying to attract new customers. So they're always posting on their stories, and you can see them in their warehouse and they're showing you the different types of hair that they have. They're always promoting sales, because vendors do have sales, so I pay attention to that. I'm also scrolling through their posts to see if they had any past sales that they were running and different things like that. And I'm literally taking notes. I cannot say that enough. Literally take notes, do your homework, and write everything down, because you're going to need it. After you gather this information from I started with 5, so start with 5 different vendors at a time, and then you want to start breaking each one down one by one. So now after further researching from Instagram, then I moved on to WhatsApp. And WhatsApp, to me, I felt like was the most informative, because you get to speak directly to a vendor, and you get to see, first of all, I'm taking note of how long does it take for them to respond. But in saying that, I'm also taking note of the time difference. So be mindful of the time difference, and go ahead and go on your phone, and you want to set your world clock to match the clock of the country that the vendor is in, so that way you're not being rude and just messaging them at weird times. Because a lot of these vendors, they do keep their notifications on because they want to be reached at any time, but you still want to be mindful and considerate of the time that you are messaging the vendors. But this is the time that you get to ask questions, and I would ask open-ended questions. Don't just give them the option of a yes or no. Ask questions where they have to give you an in-depth response, so that way you can take note of the responses that they're giving and really see if they know what they're talking about, because you want to work with a vendor that is knowledgeable and that can answer your questions. You want to make sure that you guys have great communication, because this could make or break your relationship. You actually want to build a relationship where you can trust your vendor, where you can contact them and make sure that you want to just have a good relationship because you want them to be able to want to help you, if that makes sense. I don't know if I said it right, but you kind of get the point. You want to build a good relationship. So the type of questions you can ask, sorry if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes. The type of questions you can ask is like, what kind of lace do you offer? Are the bundles from a single donor or multiple donors? How long is your shipping process? Is shipping included in the payments? What type of payment methods do they accept? Questions like that is what you want to ask. And also, you know what you're looking for. So just come up with some questions and see how well they answer your questions, how fast they respond. But to me, the biggest thing that I was concerned about is their payment method. And I did not want to work with any vendor that did not use PayPal. And I know there's so many other payment methods that you can use, but I'm just most comfortable with PayPal because if things are a little bit fishy, I know that I can get my money back. And so it's a way to protect myself, and the vendor is protected as well. And I know some vendors only do like Western Union transfers and things like that. And I stayed away from that because once you do a wire transfer, that's it. So I just rather work with a vendor that did PayPal. After doing all of that, this is where I guess I feel like this is the easy part, but it's also the hard part because you don't want to waste your money. But after you do all this research, sis, you have to spend your money to test out this vendor. And I know nobody wants to throw away money. Nobody wants to pay for trash. But at the end of the day, how are you going to find a vendor if you don't want to spend money? And I can speak on this because I was one of those people that I really wanted to find a vendor, and I was doing all of this research, but I wasn't paying to sample the hair. So at the end of the day, it was just a waste of time because I can do all of this all day long, but if I don't wear the hair and test the hair out, there is no way to know that if the hair is good or bad. So you actually have to spend money on this hair. Sorry. And what I did was I would order one bundle at a time. So if I saw that I was really communicating well with the vendor and everything checked out, I would order one bundle. I took note of how fast the hair came or slow. And then I also would double check it against my notes and say, well, he said or she said it would take 5 to 7 days, but it really took 10 to 15 days. So it's kind of like a red flag there. Like, you already lied to me about the shipping time. And this is way before Corona, so I did not have to take that into account. The shipping should have been what the shipping was discussed at that time when I found my vendor. So I did take that into account. How long did the shipping really take versus how long they said it would take? And I'm just, at this point, I'm still taking my notes. And for the vendors that say they did have a good shipping time, when the hair came to me, I'm smelling the hair, I'm feeling the hair. I would shampoo, condition the hair, see if the curl pattern would come back, straighten it, blow dry it, and then do it all over again. Shampoo it, condition it. Does the curl pattern still come back? And then after I do all of that with that one bundle, now I'm going to order a second bundle. If I feel like, oh, this was actually a good purchase, let me purchase another. And the reason for me purchasing one bundle at a time is because I want to see if the vendor is consistent, and not just consistent with the quality of hair, but also consistent with the shipping time. Did your order come faster the first time than it did the second time? Or are they starting to slack off? But if not, this time I will order 2 bundles at a time to see, okay, let's see if you're going to continue to get my order correct. Is the shipping still checking out? Is the hair still in good quality? And then after I do this a couple of times, now it's time for you to actually wear the hair, because you can manipulate the hair all you want while it's still rolled up on its bundle. But the real test is, can you wear the hair? Is it shedding? Is it tangling? Is it dry? Does it stink? All of these things. So these are all of the things that I took into account when I found my vendors. And I just want to say that finding a vendor, like I said, is super, super easy. These are the things that I did. I'm not telling you that you have to do exactly what I did, but this is what worked for me. And like I said, I just eliminated all AliExpress hair companies because I do not want to work with the AliExpress company, because the quality could go down once you start getting more and more orders and they cannot keep up. So yeah, I would say the main thing is pretty much to use your discretion, trust yourself, and don't be afraid to sample the hair. And once you sample the hair, you'll probably be surprised that the vendor's been in your face the entire time. You were just scared to just put yourself out there and try it. But you guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys got some good information, and find your vendor. And make sure you subscribe to my channel, because I will be giving more business tips and things like that to help you in your hair business or whatever business you decide to pursue. But that is all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time on Something About Drea. Bye.